Hi, Fentman Sports, and I'm Joe Fenton. Today we are starting a series called Guardiola Diaries, and it comes in three parts. So this particular part, which is the part one we are doing now, I have topicked it the winning formula. Anyone who knows Pep knows he's a winner. In fact, he's a chronic winner. But anytime or after his team wins, he leaves the fans with one particular question: who is Pep's most valuable player? And this argument goes on and on and on, and we can't seem to settle on who is his valuable player. But I mean, it's good for his team, for him to create this diverse confusion in the fans' mind, helps his team a lot. But if you observe Pep's team, he has these four items that he carries along. No matter where he's been to, he has these four categories on which he builds his team. Okay, and I don't know if other teams haven't seen it or they've seen it and still they don't have solutions to it. He starts by finding his most important player, or let's say he starts by creating his most important player. And for most of it, or let's say throughout his career, his most important players are mostly central midfielders. So if we are using Man City as the case study, we have Rodri as his most important player. The whole idea of this particular diaries is for us to argue who is his valuable player, right? Because it's very difficult to know his most valuable player. You can't even tell. So he creates the number one. He creates his most important player. Why? Because he sees the game in a particular way. So it's like trying to force his entire team to see the game from his perspective. And if there is one position he understands best, is the central role, because he used to be a number six himself. So he creates his most valuable player in the number six, and this is Rodri, right? They are supposed to hold the game. They are supposed to dictate how the game goes. In fact, that's how his system runs. So without these people, even though he is playing, but you can tell the game is somewhere. So I mean, it's not far fetched if you think his important players are his valuable players. Okay, that is not for me to say. That's for you to say. So in Man City, Rodri is his most important player. Why? Because they keep the game together, and it is half truth if you think he's his most valuable player because he created them. He can create any number six at all he wants. Because before we knew Rodri, all we knew he could do was break plays. Apart from that, he wasn't good at angling. Now we are looking at a player who understands angles. We are looking at a player who can dribble, who can hold the ball. He never had these qualities. So Pep creates his most important players, and most of the time it is his central midfielders. After he has done that, he comes to create his most dangerous player, okay, which in others' eye are his most valuable player. So when you come to Man City, Kevin De Bruyne is his most dangerous player. Okay, the beauty about his dangerous players are that they have other role apart from their main role. Their main role is to get the team to the next level. Okay, so everyone plays his part, but when it gets to the crunch time, his most dangerous player is supposed to take him over the hurdle, like Kevin De Bruyne did against Real Madrid. And anytime he met Madrid, anyone who remembers, he has a way of delivering. That's how Pep creates his team. The most dangerous players are supposed to take them to the next level. And when they don't come to play on that particular day, in a way you can see his team fall apart. Even though he has the most important players playing their role, but when the dangerous players do not perform to the max, his team falls apart sometimes. Okay, and the other job for the most dangerous players is to help the most important players, which is to keep possession of the ball. So you go to Barcelona, his most dangerous player was Lionel Messi. One of his roles was drop deep and help the central midfielders, which is the most important player in Busquets, or whether it's Xavi or Iniesta. For people who didn't know, Iniesta used to play in the number six in the 2006 sevens there. He's playing the number six role over and over and over and over. So one of the most important rules for the dangerous or the scary players are to help the important players to keep possession of the ball. So for the most dangerous players, they have two jobs: to get the team over the line and at the same time to help them keep possession. So my question again, between these two players, who do you think is the most valuable player? That is up to you to say. Okay. Then after he has created his most dangerous player, he goes ahead to create his most reliable player. This is where the trick is. If you come to Man City, his most reliable player is Bernardo Silva. He had his most reliable player in Bayern Munich in the name of Kimmich, right? When you come to Barcelona, when Yaya Toure was not the Man City Yaya Toure, he had Yaya Toure in that role. Those guys are more of obey before complain. The beauty about the most reliable players is that they can give you 80% output of whatever Pep asks of them, even if it is not their position. So you have Bernardo Silva who can play the Rodri role if Rodri is not around. You have Bernardo Silva who can play the Kevin De Bruyne role if Kevin De Bruyne is not around. You have the Bernardo Silva who can play the number 9 role if the number 9 is not around. He might not give you the same output, but he will give you 80% of the output. So my question again, who do you think is the most valuable player? If you have a player who can play almost 10 positions on the field, right? And you have another player who is supposed to take the team over the line, and you have another player who the entire system runs on, who do you think is the most valuable player? That is the question you are supposed to answer, not me. So he creates his most reliable players, and they are so important to him, right? They are so important because without them, the team can function, but you can clearly see the deficiencies because as the season goes on, people get injured, and they are very important to him. And it's like psychologically, those players believe so much in him that when he commands them to do something, they don't second guess him. So we've seen Bernardo Silva playing the number 3 position, and he never complained. We've seen him playing the number 9 position, he never complained. 7, 11, 8, 9, 10. In fact, he's the most reliable player Pep can call. They are more like his soldiers. So you look at Kimmich for Bayern Munich, he did same. He's playing the number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 8. So it's like they are there when their coach is in trouble. They are always there for him. It's the reason why, in fact, like Pep is one of the few coaches who do not mind when a player wants to leave, but he skillfully find a way to keep Bernardo Silva. So I'm in question again. Who do you think is his most valuable player? Because Pep never stops a player from leaving, but he made sure Bernardo Silva stayed. Then after he has created that, then Pep has one of the nicest skill I've ever seen in a coach. He creates wild cards. These wild card players, they come with specifications. So like he's playing and they are 1-0 down and he wants to score. He desperately wants to push the envelope. He has to bring on Doku. And that Doku is coming in with one particular task. Press the line. Press that bar line. Attack the wing at the fullback. Those are his wild cards. And when it comes to his wild cards, he has an array of them. Right? He has plenty of them. Or they are 2-1 up. And now the other side is, the other opponent is back in the game. And he's desperate. He wants to keep hold of the ball. He brings in Jack Grealish. One aim. Help keep possession of the ball. So that's how Pep rules. He creates his team using these four tables. And anywhere at all he goes, he carries them along. I don't know why other coaches haven't found a way to break it, but they've seen it, but it's unbreakable. So he has the most important player, he has the most dangerous player, he has the most reliable player, and he has wild cards. For defenders, they are more like accessories. Even though they are important, but to him, they are more like accessories. So I'm asking, to you, who do you think is Man City's or Pep Guardiola's most valuable player?